What if the world has quietly stopped listening to you without ever telling you they did? That's the silent pain many seniors live with. One day you wake up and realize the world isn't asking for your opinion anymore. Conversations move faster. Technology leaves you behind. People talk around you, not to you. It's like you've been pushed to the edge of life's stage, watching but no longer performing. And the worst part? You don't even remember when it happened. It just did. Slowly, quietly, without permission. You used to matter. You used to be needed. Now it feels like you're just there, present, but invisible. It hurts. And no one really talks about that hurt. Because you're supposed to be strong, wise, accepting. But deep down there's a quiet ache, not because you're weak, but because you still care. You care about being heard. You care about being useful. You care about your time meaning something. And yet the silence is growing louder. Days feel longer. Moments feel emptier. And you're left wondering, is this it? Let's be honest. You didn't expect growing older to feel like this. You thought maybe it would bring peace, a reward for everything you gave, the years you worked, the sacrifices you made, the battles you fought. But instead it feels like the world has moved on, like you've been paused while life plays for everyone else. That's not just unfair, it's unbearable. And you've probably told yourself to just accept it, that maybe you missed your window, that maybe it's too late. But let me say this as clearly as possible, it is not too late. This video wasn't easy to make, because saying all this out loud, it's painful. But someone had to say it, because if you're watching this, it means there's still a fire inside you. Maybe it's buried, maybe it's dim, but it's there, and it matters, more than you know. You are not forgotten. You are not finished. The world may have gone quiet, but you still have something left to give, something powerful, something important. This is your wake-up call, not because you're failing, but because you've still got time, you've still got strength, and most importantly, you've still got a choice. The choice to make these next years count. The choice to rise instead of retreat. The choice to rewrite the story they tried to end without your permission. You are still the author. The pen is still in your hand, so stay with me. Because what comes next will remind you of who you really are. It will light up what's been asleep inside you, and it will show you, clearly, boldly, that your best chapter may still be ahead. Don't look away now. Don't turn off your light, because this moment right here could be the start of everything you've been waiting for. You've lived through more than most people could ever imagine. You've seen the rise and fall of decades, watched the world change before your eyes, and survived storms that would have broken the strongest. That alone makes you powerful, not forgotten, not finished, powerful. But the world has a way of convincing you otherwise. It tries to make you believe that your time has passed, that your role is over, that your only job now is to wait and watch. And somewhere along the way, maybe you started to believe it too. Maybe you began to shrink your voice, dull your dreams, and settle for less than what you still deserve. But the truth is, life doesn't put an expiration date on meaning. It doesn't assign value based on youth. The most powerful force you hold right now is the fact that you are still here, still breathing, still capable. The years behind you are not a sign of decline, they're a foundation. Every mistake, every triumph, every moment of pain and joy has built a version of you that's unshakable. And yet here you are, questioning your worth, as if time has taken something from you. But what if it's given you something instead? What if, right now, you are the strongest you've ever been? You've carried people, you've made sacrifices, you've held back tears so others wouldn't have to cry. And now in this chapter, your strength doesn't have to be silent anymore. It can speak, it can lead, it can rise. Because even if no one tells you, the truth is this: your experience is needed. Your wisdom is rare. Your courage, built over decades, is more relevant today than ever. The world may worship speed, but it desperately needs depth, and you are the depth it's missing. This is not about chasing something you lost. It's about realizing what you've had all along. Your value isn't something that fades, it evolves. It becomes more refined, more potent, more impactful. You've reached the point in life where the mask can come off, where the need to please fades, and what remains is raw, unapologetic truth. That is your strength now, and the question you must ask yourself is not, what have I missed? It's, what am I still here to do? Because you are still here. And that means something. That means you still have the power to influence, to create, to guide, to change not just your life, but the lives around you. Every breath is a chance. Every day is a gift. Every moment is a decision. And you right now have the chance to decide that this is not your ending. This is your emergence. This is where you stop fading and start rising. Because you are not done. You are just beginning to remember how powerful you really are. There's a voice that whispers inside you, not the loud one that doubts, complains, or reminds you of your age. No, it's quieter, buried beneath the noise. It speaks in the moments of silence when the world stops moving and you're left alone with your thoughts. That voice remembers the promises you once made to yourself, the things you wanted to do, the people you wanted to become, the life you once imagined before time convinced you to let it go. It still remembers, and it still waits. It's not too late to listen. Regret is a heavy thing. It doesn't shout, it lingers. It shows up in quiet hours, in forgotten dreams, in memories that ache more than they comfort. But regret, as painful as it is not your enemy. It's your signal. It tells you there's something inside that still matters, something unfinished, something worth fighting for. Regret isn't there to punish you. It's there to remind you that you still care, that you still want more. And if you still want more, that means you're still alive with purpose. You're not too old to grow. You're not too far gone to heal. You're not too late to begin. The brain doesn't stop learning. The heart doesn't stop yearning. The soul doesn't stop reaching unless you tell it to. And deep down you know you haven't. You haven't given up, not really. You've just been waiting for something, a sign, a moment, a reason to try again. Maybe this is that moment. Maybe this is your reminder that regret is only permanent if you stop moving. The past can't be changed, but the future has no shape until you step into it. Every second you live with regret is a second you could be using to rewrite the ending. Not with grand gestures, but with real decisions, with honest choices, with small shifts that carry big meaning. You don't need the world's permission. You don't need everything to be perfect. You just need to say yes to yourself again. Think about the version of you that still believes, the part that still gets emotional when you hear something that touches your soul, that still imagines what could be, even if it hurts to dream. That version isn't gone. It's only been buried under years of maybe next time. But what if this is your next time? What if this is your window? You're opening your second chance. You owe it to yourself to try, not for others, not for legacy, not even for closure, but for you, because you've carried too much, given too much, and waited too long to live the rest of your life haunted by what could have been. Let regret fuel you. Let it remind you that you still care, and because you care, you can still change. Right now, right here, while you still have breath in your body and power in your heart. You don't need to prove your worth anymore. You've already done the hard things. You've already shown up when it hurt, loved when it cost you, and endured when no one saw the weight you carried. That kind of strength doesn't vanish. It settles deeper. It becomes part of who you are. And now, it's time to stop hiding it. You're not broken. You're built, shaped by every moment that tried to crush you, forged by every hardship that tried to silence you. The world may not always see that, but you don't need the world's approval to own your power. You have something most people spend a lifetime chasing: perspective. You've seen what matters and what doesn't. You know what lasts and what fades. That kind of clarity is priceless. And right now, that clarity is your superpower. You've lived long enough to stop pretending, long enough to drop the mask, long enough to walk in truth without apology. That alone makes you unstoppable. Because when you no longer chase validation, you become a force that can't be ignored. It's easy to believe that your time is over, that you've passed the peak. But the truth is, some mountains are only climbed in later years. Some voices only grow stronger with age. Some hearts only find their full rhythm when the noise quiets down. And now, as the noise fades, what's left is you, the real you, the one who has nothing to prove but everything to give. And the world needs that version of you more than ever. There are people out there who need your voice, who need your lessons, who need your calm, your strength, your insight. You may not realize it, but someone is waiting for you to show up as you truly are, not in perfection, but in presence, not in youth, but in truth. Your story isn't over because your voice still matters. Your wisdom still heals. Your presence still changes things. This is your time to speak up, to guide, to lead, not from a place of control, but from a place of understanding. You've already been through what others are just beginning to face. Your scars are maps. Your silence is strength. Your years are not a burden. They are the evidence of survival. And now you have the freedom to use it all. Let the world see you. Not the filtered version. Not the polished one. The real one. The one who knows how to keep going when it's hard. The one who has nothing left to chase but everything left to give. You are not done rising. You are just beginning to shine in the way only someone who has walked through the fire can shine. So don't dim yourself to fit in. Don't shrink to stay safe. Own your place. Stand in your light. The power you hold is not past its time. It's right on time. And the world is waiting. You haven't lost your purpose. You've just been too busy surviving to remember it. Life has demanded so much from you for so long that somewhere along the way you stopped asking what you wanted. You stopped dreaming. You stopped reaching. But that desire to live fully, to feel deeply, to make your days matter, it never truly left. It's still there, quietly waiting beneath the noise of routine and resignation. And now it's time to bring it forward. Not someday, not when it's convenient. Now. Because this life you're living, it's still yours. It doesn't matter how many years have passed or how far you feel from where you thought you'd be. Right now is still real. Right now is still yours. You are not living in someone else's shadow. You are not just a background character in other people's lives. This is your moment to reclaim ownership of your story. The chapters ahead are still unwritten, and you have the pen. You always did. The question is, what do you want these pages to say about you? Every excuse you've carried, every reason you've used to hold yourself back, it's time to let them go. Not because they weren't real, but because they no longer serve you. You don't need to be the person who waits for permission anymore. You've earned the right to take up space, to speak without fear, to move without apology. You've earned the right to stop just existing and start living again, even if you don't know exactly what that looks like yet. The act of deciding is powerful on its own. You are not here to simply fade away. You are here to rise into your truth. The time to settle has passed. This is the season to stretch, to grow, to push the edges of who you've been, so you can step into who you're still meant to become. You owe that to yourself. You owe that to the years you gave to everyone else. It's not selfish. It's necessary. Because when you begin to live for something deeper, you begin to feel alive again. Let the doubt come, but don't let it stay. Let the fear whisper, but don't let it lead. You have already proven that you are strong enough to stand when everything tries to knock you down. Now it's time to use that strength for you, for your joy, for your peace, for your fulfillment. No one can do that for you, and no one can take that from you either. You are not just aging. You are evolving. You are not in decline. You are in discovery. And there is more in you than anyone has seen yet, including you. So rise, not because it's easy, but because you're finally choosing yourself. Rise not because everything is perfect, but because your life is still a gift, and it's time to start living like it. You don't need to change everything overnight. You don't need to make a grand move or prove anything to anyone. The shift you're looking for doesn't begin outside. It begins in a quiet, steady decision within. A decision to no longer be numb, to no longer settle, to no longer say, I guess this is all there is. Because even if the world has convinced you to expect less, your soul still knows you were made for more. That truth doesn't leave you. It waits for you to act on it. Everything begins with one simple step, not a leap, not a miracle, just one small step in the direction of who you want to be. And yes, it might feel slow, it might feel uncomfortable, but it's real. And real change, lasting, honest, powerful change, comes from what you do repeatedly, not occasionally. The smallest action, taken consistently, rewrites your identity from the inside out. Every time you do something for your own growth, you signal to your mind that you're not done evolving, you're not drifting, you're choosing. That choice changes everything. The voice that says you can't is just a habit of thought. It's not a law. It's not the truth. It's a pattern. And patterns can be broken. Your brain even now is capable of transformation. It responds to challenge, to newness, to attention. You are not fixed, you are fluid, but only if you move, only if you begin. And beginning doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be as simple as a walk, a journal, a prayer, a promise. The power is not in the size of the act, it's in the meaning you attach to it. That meaning tells your future which direction to grow. Don't underestimate what you can do in a single day of intentional living. One honest choice, one act of courage, one decision to no longer wait. That's where momentum begins. And momentum doesn't need speed, it just needs direction. Let your direction be forward. Let it be upward. Let it be toward the version of you that believes again. You're not too late to become healthy. You're not too old to learn something new. You're not too far gone to rebuild your mindset, renew your energy, and reclaim your joy. There are no rules that say transformation ends after a certain age. That's a lie that only lives if you feed it. The moment you stop feeding it, it dies. And what lives in its place is your potential, raw, untouched, waiting. You already have what it takes, not because life has been easy, but because it's been hard and you're still standing. You've done the impossible quietly for years. Now do something powerful loudly, not to prove yourself, but to remind yourself. Take the smallest action you can think of and let it be the first of many. Change doesn't start when things are perfect. It starts when you no longer wait for perfect. It starts when you begin. You don't have to wait for someone else to hand you a second chance. You are the second chance. Right here, right now. You have the power to decide what your life becomes from this moment forward. Not based on your past, not limited by your age, not defined by anyone's expectations. Just you, awake, aware, and finally ready to stop watching from the sidelines. You've waited long enough. You've sacrificed long enough. It's time to return to yourself. Not as you were, but as who you were always meant to be. There is something sacred about this stage of life. You're no longer chasing everything that never mattered. You've seen what's real, you've felt what's true, and with that clarity comes the rare opportunity to live fully, intentionally, and freely. Not because life is easy now, but because you've outgrown the illusion that it ever would be. Peace was never about perfection. It was about choosing alignment. And now you get to choose what aligns. You get to write the final chapters with wisdom, with courage, and most of all, with authenticity. You are not an afterthought. You are not someone the world has moved past. You are the anchor, the foundation, the one who still holds the values others are trying to find. You've walked long enough in silence. Now is the time to speak your truth, not for noise, but for impact. Because what you've learned, what you've lived, what you've endured, someone else needs it. Someone else is struggling in ways you've already survived. And maybe they'll never say it, maybe they'll never thank you, but they will feel the ripple of your presence if you choose to rise. You have more to give, not less. More strength, not less. More depth, not less. This world doesn't just need the young, it needs the seasoned, the grounded, the brave. You. Don't fade into the background of your own story. Don't edit yourself out of the ending. This is your life, and it deserves to be lived with full breath, full heart, full presence. Stop asking if you're still allowed to be great. You are. You always were. Nothing in your past disqualifies you from a meaningful future. Not the failures, not the mischances, not the pain. If anything, those things make you more equipped, more ready, more deserving. The future isn't for the perfect, it's for the willing. And you, with all your imperfections, with all your questions, with all your history, you are still willing. That makes you unstoppable. So take this moment seriously. Not with pressure, but with purpose. Let it be the line in the sand. The day you looked back and said, that's when everything changed. That's when I stopped shrinking. That's when I started living with open eyes, open hands, and an open heart. You are not done. You are not too late. And you are not alone. This is your time. Not borrowed, not leftover. Yours. Use it. Live it. Own it. You are still writing the story of your life. Every breath, every step, every choice is another sentence in a chapter that hasn't been finished yet. No one else gets to decide how it ends. Not your age, not your past, not the world that may have overlooked you. The final pages are yours, and they can be the most powerful part of all. Because now, you don't live to impress. You live to express. You don't live to chase approval. You live to honor your truth. That is freedom, and it is yours. You have wisdom most people only dream of. Not because you read it in a book, but because you've lived it in silence. You've felt it through pain, you've understood it through loss, and now it's time to turn that wisdom into action, into something tangible, something real. Whether it's a conversation you've been afraid to have, a change you've been afraid to make, or a dream you've quietly buried under years of doubt, it's time to stop waiting. Time is not your enemy, it's your opportunity. And the more aware you are of its value, the more powerful each decision becomes. There is a peace that only comes when you know you've stopped hiding, when you finally decide to stand in the open with your full story and your whole heart and say, this is who I am, this is what I've learned, this is how I choose to live now. That kind of peace doesn't come from external success. It comes from internal alignment. It comes from knowing that you're living by your values, not your fears, that you're honoring your future instead of staying trapped by your past. You don't need to wait for clarity to take action. Clarity comes from action, and the smallest step taken in faith is stronger than 1,000 steps never taken in fear. You don't have to know everything. You just have to trust yourself enough to begin. Let that be your shift. Let that be your return, because life has always waited patiently for you to choose yourself again. And now you can. There is a light in you that has never gone out. Maybe it's been dimmed, maybe it's been covered, but it's still there. And when you choose to rise, that light grows. Not just for you, but for everyone around you. You become a mirror, a signal, a reminder that life doesn't end when the world stops paying attention. Life begins when you finally do. This is not a rehearsal. This is your life, not what's left of it, all of it, right now, right here. You're not here to fade away. You're here to rise, to lead, to love, and to finish strong. The story isn't over, and the pen is still in your hand. Write something unforgettable, something real, something brave. Because the most powerful chapter is the one you choose to write with your whole heart starting today.